Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'd love it if we could just go around and say our names, first and last names, so for the minutes, and then we'll get moving. So this is Julie DeMarco from Human Services Department.
Are we going to start with our Pledge of Allegiance? Julie, this is Laura.
We could. I don't think it matters names first or pledge first, but at least everybody, we know how many people are on the call.
Right. Linda
This is Mary Ellen Gavin.
George Markley.
Loretta J. Brenda Steele.
Nee Tran.
Okay. All right. So
Laura
we'll start with
Incerto. And I didn't hear Linda.
Yeah, Linda DiLorenzo. Yeah, I said it.
Okay. Great.
Okay. So we'll start with the pledge. Everybody could stand and face the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
which
stands
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so our first order of business is to elect our officers. You'll remember from last time we met way back in November, we had asked if there were any other nominations. There weren't, so we have a slate put forward. We have Laura Incerto nominated as chair, Linda DiLorenzo nominated as vice chair, and George Markley nominated as secretary. Is there a motion to approve the slate?
Also moved.
Great.
I second it. This is Loretta seconding it.
Great. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Congratulations, officers.
Woo, thank you.
Congrats.
They're gonna win,
Thank you
Laura.
for serving. Perfect. All right, Laura, it's all you.
I am so excited to serve with these two inimitable people. They are amazing to work with, and I thank everybody for the nomination and the confirmation. I'm looking forward to serving as your chair and working with all of you on a wonderful year, and I especially thank you, Julie, for all of your support and help, and it's been a difficult one having to be apart from one another and just talking to a phone. So I really applaud everybody for your enthusiasm and sticking to it, because we've got a lot to accomplish, and we can get started with what's on our agenda. So thank you all.
Before Barbara's here now, I don't know if I jumped in.
Hi, Barbara. Good to hear your voice.
Hello. Sorry I'm a little late. I just got my second vaccine. Yay.
Oh,
Wow.
Well, you are a champion, because I think you're the only one in this group, right?
Yeah.
No,
it pays
this is
to
Mary
be
Ellen.
the
I got mine
rabbi.
a while ago.
It pays to be the rabbi, though. I got it with the Watermark ladies, and when they got theirs. So, independent living.
Are you
Where did you receive it, Barbara? This is Mary Ellen Gavin.
Watermark at 3030 Park, which is
So
independent living. And
okay.
because I'm the rabbi there on Fridays, they asked me if I would get it. So, at some point I'd be able to start in-person services again. So I was lucky.
Excellent.
Great.
Well, it's Linda. I got mine because I'm because I'm 75.
Wow. No,
got
you're
my
not.
First one. Got my first one.
Wow. You're not 75. That's crazy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't feel 75 though.
You don't seem it at all.
How do you feel, Linda? You feel good, Linda?
Yeah, I feel good.
Good. So that's a good result. Can I ask you which one you got?
Moderna.
Moderna.
Yeah, and I got Pfizer. I was fine after my first, but we'll see. I hear after the second you could get a little reaction, but that's all right. We'll see.
Yeah, my husband and I both had the Pfizer first and second, and neither one of us had any reactions whatsoever.
Good.
Oh,
good.
Who was that said that?
This is Mary Ellen Gavin.
Oh, good, Mary Ellen. Yeah, one of the things when we're on this call, I believe that we are responsible for saying who we are before we speak. And
Yep.
that's by edict by Sheila, right, Sheila?
Yes, especially since we're on virtual, it's very difficult to go back and figure out who was speaking. So I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, well, great. That's wonderful. Anybody else join since Barbara, or we're good? Okay. I guess old business then. Oh, no, we have to approve the minutes. We've done that, right? Oh, no, we didn't do that.
No, we haven't done that yet.
Right. Okay,
All right, Linda DiLorenzo, I approve the minutes. Or I make a motion to approve the minutes.
And that's
I
Linda,
second
right?
George Markley.
Okay, great. Minutes approved. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any comments? Great. Thank you both for doing that. And moving on then to old business, it looks like we have a Board of Health report, but Carolyn, I didn't hear her join. Do you have anything, Julie, to add?
No.
Okay, so we'll hope for the best, and I don't know if under this category it'd be a good time for you to kind of give us a update as to how these COVID vaccines are going. Is everything running pretty smoothly?
It is. If you don't mind, maybe we hang on to that until department updates, because I'd love Brenda to talk a little bit about that.
Okay, great. No problem.
Perfect.
Okay. Committee for People with Disabilities, Loretta.
Hello, everyone. This is Loretta J. We have word of progress. Julie, cut me off if you have newer news than what since the last time you and I spoke. Mm-hmm. We've been told that we'll be invited to speak at a Board of Selectmen meeting in February. We have not been given a date, and we still have not received any feedback on our draft charge, which I really think is important to have. I'd like to have not just even feedback, but a conversation before proceeding with the Board of Selectmen meeting and really getting a handle on what town leadership expects from us, what processes we'll be following, and how we'll be operating. Something that Tom Bremer said at when he came and spoke with us in October, I think it was that he wanted us to model the Commission on Disabilities similar to the Racial Equity Task Force. And that task force is having some difficulties right now in terms of understanding its place in the community and within the town bodies. So all the more reason why I think it's important that we have clarity, not just a written edit on a draft charge, but really a meaningful conversation.
Yes, this is Laura. Can you tell a little bit more about this Racial Equity Task Force, what you know about it?
So they've been involved. They were established. I'm not part of it, so I only know from what I've read and observing some of the meetings. They were established in July after George Floyd was killed. Their purpose, well, I'm not going to speak to their purpose because that depends on who you ask, so I'm going to stay out of that mix. Right. But they're made up of community volunteer members. The co-chairs, one of the co-chairs is Nancy Lefkowitz, who's a select person, and right. Another one is a community member. And when the police chief position opened up, there were inquiries to be involved in that and understanding the process, and there was a discussion over. It wasn't about who the town selected at all. It was really about understanding the process. Very similar to what we as a Disabilities Commission would be looking at. Being involved, looking at process, making sure that people with disabilities are included, that our town operations are inclusive, being part of that conversation, and then providing feedback. And there was, they were not seeing eye to eye.
Interesting. Now, did you go to any meetings, Loretta?
Yes, I pop into those meetings occasionally. I happen to be on the last one. It's all Zoom, of course.
And Loretta, this is Barbara. When you say they weren't seeing eye to eye, who's the they you're talking about?
The task force and town leadership.
And why do you say that, since they're not a commission, why do you think that they're putting us in that same boat?
Tom Bremer had said when he spoke with us that he wanted us to model our commission based on similarly to that task force.
Right. It's Julie, I'd just like to jump in for a sec. That was for the charge. I feel like we're getting pretty off track here, and I kind of think we should reel this conversation in because that's outside our purview. Our commission charge was modeled after their charge, and we want to be appointed a commission by the first selectman rather than go through the long, lengthy process.
Okay.
So that's why that was set up that way.
Thank you, Julie, because that was not – okay, thank you for clarifying. And so anyway, so some of the – that's it. So we're waiting to hear on feedback for the commission and for the charge, and if we will have a date in February to present. And when we do have that date, I hope that everybody will come onto those calls and onto that call for the Board of Selectmen meeting and be a voice of support, and so they see that our Human Services Commission is present and cares and is invested in this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Will we be allowed to get on it, Loretta?
Yeah, anyone can come into our Board of Selectmen meetings. It's open to the public.
You'll be able to listen, but probably only one person will be able to speak to it, and I'm hoping that's Loretta.
Right.
Because they're still recording the meetings, and public comment can be submitted in advance of those meetings. But I think it would be appropriate for Loretta to be that speaker.
Loretta, it's Barbara. Can you, and it's me that's just like, I don't know where things end up, but can you send the draft of the charge around again so kind of see where we ended up with the final, one?
I can. It's still in the same Google Drive. But we could send it again. I could send it out again, sure.
Okay, and I don't know if everybody, people who weren't on our little subcommittee might, it sounds like you're saying it would be helpful for everyone to see it if, we want to have, a voice or show up in solidarity here or something.
Right.
Julie, what's the position on that?
Well, remember the
because we haven't voted on it yet.
Right. So we have to put our charge on a meeting. We really need to put the charge on a meeting so that we can push it forward to the selectmen.
Right.
So we need to have a conversation with Mr. Bremer to make sure we're on the same page with the charge, and then probably next month we'll present that. And if we need to do that in advance, if we need to do that by email as a commission meeting to get that, if we have a date for the vote on the commission, the creation of the commission, then we can do that. We can set up an emergency meeting to approve that. Mm-hmm. But this commission needs to approve that before it goes forward.
Right, that's what I thought.
Okay. Okay, and the meeting I think I wrote was February 11th, Loretta?
We don't have a date yet.
Oh, you don't have a date. Okay. So you'll.
And Julie, have you heard anything recently about discussion on it?
No, I haven't. We have meetings tomorrow, so I can follow up tomorrow. We're on the radar, so it's just slow.
Okay.
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 Anything else on that, Loretta? So you're going to resend the charge to the subcommittee?
Disabilities Committee.
Yeah.
I'll resend it to the Disabilities Committee. Then our next steps are getting feedback, voting on it, presenting to the Board of Selectmen. And taking it back, then sharing it with the full Human Services Commission. And do we have to have a second vote for the Human Services Commission to vote on it?
Yes, that's what Julie just said.
It would be the two votes, not the one vote.
The subcommittee will have to approve it and then bring it to the commission, and then the commission approves it to bring forward. Yep.
So we might have to have a special HSC meeting, is what Julie let us know. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Great. Good work, Loretta. We're all rooting.
Loretta, it's George. Can I just add one comment?
Please.
And I apologize. I don't remember. I'm not sure if I read the charge, or if I did, I don't remember it. But clearly, recent events would suggest that there should be something in there that talks about the Disability Commission interfacing with other town bodies, town commissions, cooperating with them, something that suggests that that's certainly within their purview.
Yes.
Because obviously, I think that's one of the goals, is to make certain that the question of serving people with disabilities is infused in all the work of the town.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we do include language in our version, but we haven't received feedback, so we don't know how this will be received. And that comes back to conversations about, what do all volunteer commissions, what is, that line that doesn't get crossed in terms of contributing to what the town is doing, but we're not staff, and finding that balance. So that's really
right.
It needs further exploration.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have, George, as part of the charge, engaging with and making recommendations to and providing information to other town bodies.
Great. Terrific. Thank you, Loretta.
And we will send that charge around again. It's Julie again, around again, because Loretta did a great job with it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you, Loretta. All right. Our third line of old business, I don't think anyone is on the call as a friend of the Bigelow Center for Senior Activities, but perhaps Julie or Brenda want to give any kind of report?
It's Julie. There's no report.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
So on to new business. Our commission calendar is outlined here. And it looks like we have two alterations, which would be November and December would be a week earlier based on the holidays.
I did adjust those.
Comment. I think that December 15th needs to be the 16th, right, Julie?
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
December 15th is a Wednesday. Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
Okay. That was my only comment about the calendar, but other than that, I think it looks good. Does anybody?
I'm sorry, Laura. It's Linda. What did you say about December? What date?
The 15th is what's listed on the calendar now, Linda, on the agenda, but it's really December 16th.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No problem. Does anybody have any comment, suggestion, question about the time of day, 4 p.m.? Do we still want to leave it at that? Anybody have any concerns? Or are we good?
This is Mary Ellen Gavin. Is there any possibility of making it a little later in the day, or is that the latest we can go?
Actually, Mary Ellen, we had, I think when I first started on this commission, we would meet at 4:30. And then we changed it to 3:30. And then we changed it to 4 p.m. in the time that I've been serving. And I think it was really based on trying to be respectful of the staff hours and when they work.
I understand that. Thank you.
Yeah, we kind of found a happy medium, but, I always defer to those that, have comment like Julie and Brenda, how do you feel about moving it to 4:30?
I love 4 o'clock. It gets, it's really up to the commission. I prefer to keep it where it is, but if all of you want to change it, that's something that you can do.
No, this is Mary Ellen Gavin. It was just a question. As long as you all don't mind me calling in from the hospital, it can get a little noisy here sometimes. But I can break away for the meetings at 4.
Oh, you know what? You just bring up a very good point, Mary Ellen. We didn't do around the table since you are a new member to this commission. Julie, I'm so sorry. I don't know how I bounced over that, but would now be a good time for everybody to go around, Julie?
Sure.
Just say a little bit about who they are and what they do, and so everybody kind of has a sense of who's on the phone.
Sure.
Great.
You want to call us out so we're not over talking?
What was that?
Do you want to call us out so we don't talk over each other? Like to sort of name everybody.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mary Ellen, if you want to go first, that would be really helpful to me because I haven't met you yet, but today, and tell us a little bit about you.
I'm Mary Ellen Gavin. I'm a nurse. I work at St. Vincent's Medical Center as a discharge planner. I'm also a geriatric care manager out in the community. And I'm very well versed on vaccines because I've been giving them for the last 3 days. And I was also very involved with the testing over in Westport. So I joined the commission. When I submitted my application, I understand there are a lot of silos when patients and people are being discharged out into the community, and I thought I had a pretty broad base of knowledge of how healthcare delivery systems exist in the hospital, and perhaps how we can bridge it better into the community and meet the needs of the geriatric population.
Great. Good to have you. All
Thank you.
right. Brenda, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Well, hi, everyone. I'm the new Senior Center Director, almost done with my first full week. And it's going well. I'm a Fairfield resident. I'm very excited to be serving the seniors and the town of Fairfield and working with wonderful people like you, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm here as a staff member of the center.
Great. What days are you working, Brenda?
I'll work every day.
Oh, every day. Okay.
9 to 2. Mm-hmm. Ish.
9 to 2. Well, if anybody stops in, please take a minute and say hello to Brenda. You're probably in the office right next door to Julie, right?
Yes, so please do.
Great.
Looking forward to meeting you all in person at some point.
Excellent. Do you want to go, Linda?
Sure. Linda DiLorenzo, and I'm a retired nurse, graduate of Norwalk Hospital School of Nursing, which isn't there anymore. I spent 25 years at Norwalk Hospital, and my last position before my retirement, I was the executive director of Southwest Connecticut Agency on Aging, which covers the 14 towns from Bridgeport to Greenwich. And I've been a commissioner for eons. I think actually I'm probably up this December, I think. So I've been on the commission, I've been different officers and whatnot, and I've been working with everyone with disabilities.
It's been great. Thank you,
Linda. I don't think I knew you were a SWACA executive director. That's great.
Yeah, I did it for 7 years. I would have stayed on, but my mom and dad were sick, so I left.
And it was lucky for Jewish Family Service she was there, right, Linda?
That's right, Barbara.
It was the only time they gave us the time of day when Linda was at the helm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I loved the job.
So, George, tell us about you.
So I'm George Markley. I've been a resident of Fairfield for almost my whole life, which has now been a long time. I am an attorney in downtown Fairfield, trying to retire, working on it. and I've been on the commission for just over 2 years.
A great addition for sure. Thank you, George.
Thank you.
All right, Barbara, you're up.
Hello, I'm Barbara Paris. I'm a rabbi, and in fact, Mary Ellen, we probably know each other because I worked for about 12 years at St. Vincent's as the rabbi there, so I'm sure our paths have crossed. I'm on a little hiatus, through COVID, so I haven't been there in a while. I'm a community rabbi. I don't have a pulpit per se. My husband and I run the Jewish Family Service in Fairfield. I've been there for about 35 years. And then as a rabbi, as I mentioned before, I'm at 3030 Park, the Friday rabbi. I also work part-time at a synagogue out of the area in Harrison, New York. And I'm the rabbi at Choate, Rosemary Hall, and Southern Connecticut State University. So kind of wear a lot of hats between young people and seniors, and have been on the commission, I think, with George like 2 years now, and was on the subcommittee for disabilities as well.
I think you've been 3 years, Barbara. This is Laura.
Is it already 3? It
I
could
think so,
be.
yeah.
That's crazy, but yeah, who's counting?
Nobody. It's been wonderful. And actually, as an aside, I was going to ask Sheila if we could put together another membership list to email to everybody, just kind of updating our new members and terms and all that. When you can, Sheila, no rush.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you. Loretta.
Hi, my name's Loretta J. I come here with a diverse experience. I do consulting for nonprofits and for municipalities on systems and program development and evaluation. I do special ed advocacy. I have experience running nonprofit organizations, specifically targeting people who are underrepresented in communities. A strong background in mental health services, the past president of NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, and I started my career in child welfare for DCF. So that's a fast rundown. And I've been on the commission for about a year and, several months, and jumped right into the Disabilities Committee at that time.
Been great. And you live in Fairfield?
I'm sorry, I live in Fairfield. I've been here for 23, 24 years, and I've lived in Connecticut for most of my life.
Great. How about you, Nee?
Hi, everyone. I'm Nee Tran, and I joined about the same time as Barbara. So I can't believe that's 3 years. It really does feel like 2 years.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
I know. I am an attorney in New Haven, at New Haven Legal Assistance. Sorry, that's my kids in the background. They just came in from outdoors, so I will move to another room. But let's see. So right now, as a public interest lawyer, I'm doing special education law representing children in school. But I also, in the past, have done housing eviction defense and representing abused and neglected kids in the child juvenile proceedings. And that's about it. And I have two boys who are not so little, but are a handful.
That's a lot of responsibility. Okay, thank you, Nee. Is there anyone else I have left off?
You.
Okay, all right. So my name is Laura Incerto, and I am going into, I believe, my 6th year on the commission, 5th or 6th. I have to check the membership roster myself. But it's been a wonderful experience. I live in Fairfield, down in the Pine Creek area. I have, I guess, retired from corporate America in the last 10 years, 2010. mainly serving in a packaging role and manufacturing, and after that, promotional products, and decided to launch a home care agency with a partner in 2011 and sold that business 2 years ago. So I am now a consultant in event planning, which also was part of my corporate life way back when. So I'm pretty much semi-retired and working in helping in our community with this Human Services Commission role. So very excited to be working with all of you. And let's see, Julie, do you want to tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm the Human and Social Services Director. This is finishing up my third year, if that could be. Might be the second year I'm finishing up. But I had Brenda's position before that. So I've been with the town, I think, 7 years. I'm a social worker by training. My husband and I have lived here for 30 years. We have 5 kids. And that's it.
Unbelievable. 5 children. God bless you guys.
You know what, Laura, I forgot to tell everybody that I live in Fairfield. It's Linda.
Oh, good.
I've been in Fairfield 64 years.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Holy cow.
And this is Mary Ellen. We've been in Fairfield 24 years and in Connecticut 29, I think, right now. So.
Okay.
Great. That's awesome. So everyone's local. We know where to find you. All righty. Well, now I think we left off in the calendar, and if everybody's in agreement, I think that we can put forward a vote to accept the calendar with the change of December 15th to the 16th, and we'll keep it at 4 p.m. on the 4th Thursday of the month with the 2 exceptions. Does that sound good? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Do I need a second on that?
Yeah. I mean, you're yeah.
It's Barbara. I'll second it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, and everybody was unanimous in accepting, no abstentions? Great.
Perfect.
Okay, so Julie, it looks like our next item on our agenda is guest speaker recommendations.
Right. So I think last month we were hoping we could start kind of roughing out a list of speakers that the commission would like to hear from. And it kind of sounds like it might be a good idea besides, and we had a hope for, First Selectwoman Kupchik, perhaps the town attorney, but also we could invite somebody from the Racial Equity Task Force to find out what they're finding and just see if there's any way that we could help. That could be we could invite somebody from there. But we just wanted this on the agenda so that if people had ideas, we could start a list and start inviting people.
Great. I have some ideas. I was putting some thought into maybe expanding to other community outlets, like, for instance, the Pequot Library, ways that we can work together to assist seniors, especially since they're homebound, maybe some kind of an art exhibit class or, something, or photography to try to draw in the seniors with something fun. I don't know. Is that a possibility since a lot of these outlets do have the ability for Zoom?
It is. We share a lot of programs. Pequot is not. We do publicize some of their programs, but we need advance notice of like 2 months to put them in the newsletter. But Fairfield Public Library does a lot of programs. Fairfield Museum and History Center do programs. So those are ideas that we're sharing. It would be great to get Pequot. For us to be a little bit more involved with Pequot would be wonderful. And now with having Brenda on board, it gives us a little bit more time to find out where the gaps in those programs we're providing. That'll be helpful.
Julie, if it helps, I know the director over at Pequot.
Oh, that's great.
Stephanie Coakley.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Thanks, George.
She's lovely, yes. Anybody else have suggestions to add to the list, or should we come to our next meeting with those ideas, Julie?
Your call. It's if you that's probably a great idea to bring everybody. If we could bring an idea or two of speakers you'd like to hear from, I think that's a great idea. Then we can share them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in the past, just from my being on the commission, we've had Marie Allen from SWACA, who was always an invaluable source of information. What was it? Was it Caring Bridge that came once? Julie, were you on when they came?
No.
Yep, I think they came. I think that was when Terry was the director. So there's lots of other agencies that we have heard from in the past, but haven't in a while, so we can revisit them. So why doesn't everybody come to next month's meeting with a person, agency, idea that you'd like to see incorporated into the Human Services Commission? I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, good one.
There was one other thing that I was going to mention about that, and it kind of escaped me, but if it comes to me, I'll come back with it. Okay, great. Oh, that's what it was. What happened to Brenda? I thought Brenda was going to try to join us today. Cup check.
She was not able to today, so we're hoping to confirm for next month. It's based on her schedule, so it's.
Yep.
We'll get her here.
Lady, I know that.
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. Let's see. Areas of interest for commission focus. Boy, that's a loaded question, huh? Another one I think that would be helpful to come to our next meeting with, right? Because now that we do have a new officer structure, I would love to get together, Linda, with you and George, do some brainstorming about kind of where we would like to see, the ideas for the Human Services Commission come together. So if anybody has something now, please put it out there. But I would love to see us spend some time at next month's meeting on that, because I think it's a wonderful, discussion and objective type.
Laura, this is Barbara. Yeah. Whatever happened to the retreat? I know we put it on hold, but what's your thinking about that? Because it sounds like, what you're saying, objectives and where do we want to see us going and spending our time, that was kind of what the retreat we were hoping was going to bring forward.
Right. And my concern about the retreat right now is, well, number one, we wanted to wait for our new members. So we've got that with Mary Ellen and, Suzanne, but she's not on the call, but I know she's a relative new member as well. And now that we have Brenda over the Senior Center, it's great to incorporate her as well. My concern is that we're not meeting together yet. And that was one of our objectives, right? We wanted to have a retreat where we could all get together in person. What's your feeling on it now, Julie, in terms of, restrictions for gatherings and all that?
Well, I know the town is not having commissions meet in person yet, so that's not something that we can really go around. We follow the town lead on that. I think part of the delay was also we wanted to have Attorney Baldwin come and talk about the commission and Robert's rules and the scope of the commission responsibilities and how the areas that in which we have interest fit into those. So I think there's a couple of steps to take, and then I thought we were going to talk about a retreat, but it's hard because we can't meet in person, and we're talking over each other, and that's challenging.
This is Mary Ellen Gavin, and being brand spanking new, an area of interest to me is, and I think I heard something at the very beginning of the call about what the town of Greenwich is doing for their elderly population. They really set a really high bar. They're doing a great job. Are we talking about introducing that, or have we talked about that as a committee at all?
We haven't, and that's Laura and I were talking about that. The Fairfield Senior Advocates put that in a report that you will get in your minutes about an AARP age-friendly community, and that's something that an entire community works on. It's not commission or department-based. It's the town taking that on as a town focus to address
it's a beautiful
every area.
program, and it does embolden. It does embolden the entire town to embrace the elderly. It's quite comprehensive.
And people with disabilities. It's not just just about seniors. It's about how to keep people in town. You're right, in town as they age, and that can only benefit all of us.
So maybe we could have, this is Barbara, have a speaker from there to tell us about their initiative. That would be, if whoever the right person might be.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
So let me understand then. It's a initiative that the town of Greenwich has put into place, and Aarp picked up on it. Is that what it was, Julie?
I think they are aware of it because they're involved with the state and the state AARP. It's AARP. If you have time and you go and you can Google AARP age-friendly communities, it talks about what it's for, what the steps are to take, and what the process is. So I think they're just aware because they're engaged in all things seniors. Greenwich is the only community in this area. I don't know how many are in Connecticut, but many towns in Massachusetts have it, and other areas. It's an enormous undertaking, but it's for Greenwich it's 100% worth it, and it may be for us, but it's not. We've got to get buy-in for that. So we have to really have a conversation about it. People need to do some homework and look at it. And so maybe before we could go to the next meeting in February, if you have time, please take a sec to take a peek at it so you can really have an idea of it. It's exciting. I think once you take a look at it, like Mary Ellen said, it's remarkable.
So we're going to kind of table that though for now, right?
This is Mary Ellen. It really is a great program. It's taken them years to pull it off, and it's involved multi-departments. But even if we could just include a few tidbits, and it's been a while since I've looked at it, but I did look at it quite extensively a few years ago, and I thought it was a great program.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's easy to find on the internet.
For those that don't know Aarp, I can never say his last name. Luheimer, is that how you say it?
Lime Cooler.
Lime Cooler, that's it. I'm so sorry, Aarp. I didn't mean to do that to you. He started many years ago, because I served on it, Fairfield Senior Advocate. And it's a wonderful group that he and a few other gentlemen, and I don't even know who else is on it these days, they are just out there looking at initiatives for seniors with regards to affordable housing, with regards to tax relief.
Everything, really.
Things like this that Julie just mentioned. And usually he would attend our meetings, but since we haven't been in person, he may even be listening, but he's not allowed to speak since he's a public attendee, which is unfortunate. But he does wonderful things in conjunction with the senior center. He would hold meetings and discussion groups, and unfortunately with COVID we haven't had Aarp's attendance, but he really is a wonderful Fairfield community member and a very bright man. So that's, for those who don't know who Aarp is, I just wanted to make sure you are aware of the notes that you will receive, he put together, that you will get with our minutes. So that's great. And hopefully in the future we will hear from Aarp in person. I would really like that. Yeah. Let's see, was there any, I know there was something that probably would have gone under old business, which was, Julie, maybe in your department update, can you give us an update on the accreditation that's been going on?
Yep.
I don't think we've spoken about that. So I don't know if that's considered old business or under department update, but I think that if everybody could come to our next meeting with some guest speaker recommendation or recommendations and areas of interest for us to focus, and I will come back to everybody with, an update on the retreat, Barbara, to answer your question.
Okay.
So it's all yours, Miss Julie.
Great. Well, I'm going to start with the best news ever, which is Brenda Steele joining our department last week. She is, I'm thrilled to pieces that she's with us. She is more than qualified, and she's just a calming and happy grace of a presence already. Brenda is.
Thank you.
Oh no, thank you. It's been wonderful, and it's this department it's pretty close knit. It's women, and we're all here every single day, and it means a lot to have somebody who can come in and not just fit but enhance it. So I'm thrilled that she's here. I will take a second now to pass over to Brenda to let her tell you about what the project she's working on is for the town. And then we'll talk a little bit about the COVID vaccinations. But Brenda, if you don't mind taking a minute to talk about the call center.
Sure.
Thanks.
So this week, Fairfield began and we set up a COVID-19 information call line. The various departments, First Select Woman's Office, Health Department, Senior Center, all were just being inundated with phone calls about the vaccine with varying questions, as you can imagine. So they decided to put together a so-called hotline for people to call. So we've set up, and we are staffed by the CERT volunteers. We're open from 10 to 1, and it's been great. So this is the fourth day, and each day we get more and more calls. Today we had 80 incoming calls, and we had about 35 overnight messages. Most of the people calling in are seniors or children of seniors who are looking to figure out how to get the vaccine. Some of the questions vary from that. How can I get the vaccine? How can I register? I've had the first shot. When can I get the second shot? There's a variety of places you can register for the vaccine, not a variety, but I mean through VAMS, Yale New Haven, Hartford Health. I think some places are also you can call and set up an appointment. So we put together, lots of information for the volunteers to speak to, and any questions. We're working obviously very closely with the Department of Health, and they're giving us, most of the information, and it's really been wonderful. We've helped a lot of people. A lot of the seniors are, of course, very happy to just talk to someone, to actually be able to call and have someone pick up the phone. We can't help everyone, but I think we've helped a lot of people. So I think it's been a great success so far. We'll see what happens. Next week we may extend the hours a little bit. We may not. We're just going to see kind of what happens by the end of this week. But it's been a huge success.
It's great.
This is Mary Ellen. That's really wonderful. I'm seeing a lot of confusion here giving the vaccine to some of our people over age 75. What are we doing for the people that don't have access, or how are you getting that phone number out to people if they are not online? I know in the super aged, many of them are not online and are very intimidated by iPhone. So how are we reaching out to them to give them that phone number?
So far, it is on the town website. Julie will be sending it out in the weekly blast for the senior center. The First Select Woman is sending it out. The Department of Health has a variety of ways that they're sending it out. And I think maybe, Julie, we can talk about some other ways that we can distribute it. I think the First Select Woman was giving it to the newspaper, the local newspaper as well.
Yep, and Channel 12 was here yesterday with the First Select Woman. Yep.
Yeah, that's right, Channel 12 as well.
Is there a compilation of people in town and their ages and phone numbers?
There is. We have worked hard with the nurses and the tax assessor's office to call everybody who is, I think we hit everybody who is 70 and older in the town. We have done a robocall from the senior center for seniors for when the 877, the state number to make appointments, went out, and we could certainly do that again with the hotline, the call center number. I think what we're finding is that there's very few seniors who don't have not very few. There's a minority of seniors who don't have somebody in their life who is helping them to get the information. So we are getting some neighbor calls and some friend calls. Churches, the houses of worship got the number today. The neighborhood associations have the information. And the providers, like the home care agencies and things, they got the information. So we're trying very hard to get it out there. It's not a perfect system, but I think from the number of calls and the types of calls that Brenda's getting, I think the word is definitely getting out there.
That's great because, as I said, there's a lot of confusion. I know there have been a couple of things done actually in the Metro New York area with programs, a group of volunteers called Vaccine Angels, where they're very tech-savvy people that are helping the seniors, that if they're put in contact with those seniors, they will help them with the VAM's website and set up appointments. Is that something that this group of volunteers is helping to set up the actual appointment? It can be very intimidating for some of these people to work the VAM site.
Yes, it's very intimidating. We are assisting. We are not doing it for them at this time, but we are, kind of going through the web page, and we are helping a few people put in the information. We can't make the appointments for them, and so because VAMs, with VAMs anyway, you have to register your name, your information, your address, and a little bit of other information, and then they have to send you an email back. And then after you receive that email, you then have to actually register an account.
Right. The way that, at least from my understanding, I work here at Hartford Healthcare. I don't think you need to go through VAMs to schedule that. I think you have to go through. Again, it's electronic for the most part. My chart and Yale New Haven, you have to go through their chart. But there are hotline phone numbers that at least I can only speak to Hartford right now that we can give out to people, but it's just trying to get the word out. It's really heartbreaking to see these seniors trying to struggle. Some of them don't have a cell phone to try to schedule their appointments.
Right.
And again, they have the Vaccine Angels program. It's a group of volunteers that started that were tech heavy. They know tech very well. And I just was wondering if there was any possibility of someone's trying to spearhead that, or if someone stepped forward to volunteer to do something like that.
We haven't gotten there yet. We are collecting for those people that are calling who don't have a computer and email, so we're compiling a list, and we're filling out a form and submitting it to the Department of Health, and we're hopeful that if we get enough people that we can do kind of, a pop-up clinic. Probably shouldn't even say pop-up clinic, but just a clinic for those individuals who, have not been able to register online. This week we're just going to kind of see where we are with how many people we have, because there are people, but I have to say we didn't add in as many people as we thought we might, which was interesting this week. So we'll see after Friday's email blast and maybe some more advertising, kind of what happens.
Yeah.
So we are doing
that. This is Barbara. My husband he was able to call Griffin Hospital, and even though he wasn't eligible for them, they gave him some kind of a number, an emergency number or something, and he was able to get that number and schedule an appointment through them. He had to go up to Hartford to some Rensselaer Stadium or something, but he got it the next day.
So we are giving
a challenge. Right, go ahead, Brenda.
Sorry. We're not sending people to Griffin Hospital, but we are mentioning that we hear if you call Griffin Hospital.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to mention that as a resource, because he had good luck. He waited a long time on the phone, but then they gave him another number, and that was successful. So
it's a great resource, and if they're giving it, and we are telling people, if you can get an appointment, take it. A lot of people want to come to the Fairfield Senior Center, but we are encouraging them to, if they've got an appointment, and you have a way to get to wherever it may be, take it.
Right.
We had
And
people that drove 80 miles yesterday to get their vaccine. The second vaccine, they can go ahead then and schedule it. Again, they have to be computer literate, and it's quite challenging for the elderly that aren't very knowledgeable about the internet and even cell phones, which I saw quite a few yesterday that were challenged in that way, and that's why I'm heightened about this right now. Again,
thank you for that. And I was going to ask Julie, because you had sent me the email about how seniors can sign up for the vaccine, Julie. Is there something that has been sent out to all of our senior center members in an email?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
That's the challenge that Brenda has, is that she's running this call center and the information changes every day. When all these town departments were getting phone calls, we all were doing the best we could to give them the right information. But the emergency planning team felt that it was important to have one central location that works with the health department, and thank God Brenda was able to come in and start with that, because it's really streamlined the process, because the numbers of calls that the First Select Woman's office is getting is way down. Our numbers are way down, but Brenda's numbers are up. But we have to have clear messaging that is consistent with the health department. So, when they release that 877 number, Barbara, I think that's probably how your husband went through it. That number was backed up so far because of so many seniors had called. And it's challenging to get all of this information in one place. The state did release the Connecticut 211 vaccine finder, so we are guiding people to that too. You can go on that to see where there are places, but the information that they're getting from Brenda and the assistance they're getting, like the volunteers can mirror, they can look at the VAM site to walk a senior through each step. They just can't hit that make an appointment button. And the registration that they're doing for those on the phone is getting a great list of seniors who aren't tech savvy connected to the health department. So it's like all of these challenges and all of these, I know that Stanford Senior Center had to accept calls for Stanford Hospital when their phone lines dropped. So, it's bumpy and it's not perfect, but it's a start. And I agree with Mary Ellen that it's to get the word out there to the seniors who don't have it. We have put notifications in their lunches and in our mobile food pantry, and those that we're aware of are getting it, but it's those who aren't. And we're hoping that community members between churches and neighborhood associations help get that word out.
Right. No, it's a huge job, so thank you, Brenda. Seriously, heartfelt thank you, because the confusion and it's just very sad. So I'm glad to hear you guys are addressing it. I'm working full-time plus right now with all this, or else I'd step up to volunteer to do this. I just don't have the time. But, if there's something I can do on a small basis, please let me know, because it's vital to get that out to them.
Yes, and I think well, thank you. I think, and the volunteers have been wonderful, and I think that towards, at the end of this week, after tomorrow, we'll kind of just reevaluate everything. But I will say, from Monday through already today, we really have the information down pat. We feel like we're distributing it well. We feel that the seniors that we've have spoken to are appreciative, feel helped. So, those are all really good things.
That's great. This is Barbara again. Once people, I'm thinking of myself once I'm past the point, with the second shot waiting, I have a feeling people need transportation to get to some of the places. And I know people will be reticent to put them in their car, but is that something down the line, that we can look into, that if there are volunteers that feel safe enough, to take someone?
Right. Well, that's a challenge that we're also trying to figure out, because we're not running our buses right now with passengers.
Right, exactly.
We're still delivering the meals.
Yeah.
So that's something that, as our drivers are vaccinated and not and wouldn't put their families at risk, so their families are safe, then that's definitely something I'm hoping we can step up. And then they'll also be doing, home visits and home care agencies, and the pharmacies will be able to step it up. Every day it seems that there's more clinics opening.
Right. Yeah.
So, Julie, this is Laura. So the senior center is not giving out vaccines at all at their
well,
location?
No. That's. I'm glad you said that. Our gym is now the COVID vaccine site. So the health department is running that. All appointments are made through the VAM system, so we are not able to make anybody appointments. It all goes through the health department. So on Wednesdays and Thursdays, they book the appointments. I think, Brenda, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's between 500 and 600 each of those days. Once somebody gets an appointment and they get to come to Fairfield, the clinic is the easiest part of the whole thing. It's, you come in, you check in, you get your shot, you sit for 15 minutes, and then you leave. It's a very smooth machine.
So the gym is now called the clinic.
It is. And
okay.
It also, we're not open, so I'm happy to be able to. It's handicap accessible. There's bathrooms. I'm happy to be able to provide that service for the town because it's critical. But it's just a matter of getting those shots. And there's confusion about messaging and what the ages are because the task force said 65 and up, so people 65 and up are calling, but it's still 75 and up. So it's the outside noise rather than the clinic that's so hard.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Now that email you sent to me, can we send that to the Human Services Commission?
Yes, and I think you're all on our email blast, so that's on there too. So when you get the email blast, just read through it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because just my name was on it, but I wanted to make sure everybody on this commission has it so they could forward it to people they know.
Right, that was the one that went out to the senior providers, the home care and health care providers.
Oh, see, I didn't get that one. Okay, got it.
No, that is the one.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, okay.
But not to the commission, or it did get to the commission?
No, it hasn't yet. That was specifically to home care providers so they could take care of their people.
All right, so can you send that to the whole commission, or do you want to send it to me and I will? Okay,
no, I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you, Julie.
Sure.
Wow.
I'm not sure this is Mary Ellen again. I'm not sure if the home care providers are yet giving the vaccines out. If they are, it's very spotty. So there's talk of it, but they haven't initiated that yet.
Yeah, as far as we know, they haven't either. Right now, it's just the 75 and up and the first responders. Our staff hasn't even gotten it, except for a few, for different reasons.
Yeah, no, I meant like the home health care providers for people that are discharged from hospitals or providing services. They're not allowed to, at this point, give the vaccine.
Right.
And, Julie, I do know that a couple people that I did forward it to that are over 75, it appears that they're now into mid to late February. Do you have any update as to where people are at in terms of being put into the hopper?
I know that Fairfield had scheduled out through February 11th because that's all the vaccine they have.
Okay.
I think, Brenda, you know more about when they update the clinics and where the spots are?
Yes. To be honest, some people have dates in March and April. Not here, but at different places. So it really depends on. Obviously the hospitals have more vaccines. Yale, New Haven, Hartford are able to the quantity. They're able to distribute more vaccines. Various towns, you're never really sure what you're going to get.
Right.
And as people get the first vaccine, there will continue to be lots of questions with the seniors about the second vaccine. And then once the 65, that age group becomes eligible, we suspect we won't have as many calls, but one never knows. But we suspect most people will be, more computer, ability to handle the computer and figure out where to go. But one never really knows.
Yeah,
that's the thing. In the old days, when seniors were able to go to the senior center, they could pick up a newsletter that would really guide them. But there are so many seniors that don't have computers. Are we finding that they're not getting information, and that's why you're getting so many incoming calls like that?
Not as much as you would think. The senior housing and assisted livings have the email. The newsletter. We send the newsletter home to our frail seniors with the lunch and the mobile food pantry. People can pick it up out front. or call,
Good.
and Nora will read it to them. So there certainly are people who are falling through the cracks, and we're trying to identify them, but it's unless we know who they are, it's hard to say. Oh, well, that house might be somebody. That's why we're trying to rely on church and neighborhood associations too.
Well, if there's any way that you want our commission to assist, I'm sure everybody on this call would be happy to take a grouping of houses or individuals, and hey, we'll just roll up our sleeves and let them know, even if we put just a notice in their mailbox.
Thank you.
Yeah,
happy to do that.
Right, and I work closely with the Council of Churches, so if you want, to send anything through them or through the churches and synagogues, please let me know, and I'm happy to help. And on that note, I have another meeting, so I'm going to have to sign off, everybody. But amazing work, everyone. And so
right, see you,
stay well. It's Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara. Have a good night.
Okay, I got to go.
Yeah, see ya.
Take care.
So we do send out to the churches and to the neighborhood associations. I'm not sure I would give a list of names out. That's what we ran into with the friendly callers, that you don't know. There's a privacy issue, and then the concern about strangers approaching houses. So we do get referrals from police and fire and from ambulance, but it's tricky. It's a delicate balance to from just being helpful to compromising privacy.
Yeah,
so
it's almost like a HIPAA violation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, we're here if you need any help at all. You just let us know.
Thank you.
Julie.
That's wonderful.
And Brenda.
So we ready for some other updates?
Yep.
Yes.
Great. So we are continuing to deliver lunches. We're up to probably 1,200 that have been delivered since the start of the pandemic. So every day, Monday through Friday, we deliver upwards of 50 lunches to seniors at no charge. And those are our more frail seniors or people who have been in quarantine or diagnosed with COVID who aren't seniors. So we're able to help people who are home and don't have resources and need to be home. We're continuing with our mobile food pantry, which is in the 30s now of people who cannot get to the Operation Hope pantry hours. This is a partnership with Operation Hope, and we bring an emergency bag every other week to 30-something families so that they have the basics of groceries. And they qualify to be on that list if they cannot make those hours to Operation Hope. So they're not necessarily seniors. It's social services, it's seniors, it's any age. And that's been going beautifully. We are starting Aarp Tax Prep next week. I think you'll remember in 2 years ago, that was a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 1. Volunteers would come, seniors would have appointments, they'd get their taxes done, and they'd be on their way. Last year, we were able to provide that service for 3 weeks, and then nothing. So this year, we are doing it differently. The seniors call, give their name and phone number. We give AARP those names and phone numbers, and if the senior does not want that number shared, then they have to find a different way to get their taxes done, because it's the requirement is that the AARP volunteer will then call them back to make an appointment to pick up their paperwork. They'll give them a checklist that both will sign off on, that they have given them, that the tax prep people have taken those documents, and then they'll take the tax information home, work on them, make an appointment, and follow up with that person, give all the documents back. It's new. The other alternative was to send them to the Trumbull Mall, where they're setting up a site somewhere to do taxes. So we think this will work pretty well. We've got a lot of people who already have appointments and are ready to go. But there's challenges with that, like seniors won't answer the phone if they can't identify who it is. And these people are calling from their personal phones. These volunteers are calling from their personal phones. So the seniors aren't necessarily answering, but they'll call back. So just yet another challenge of COVID.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. We have a Black History Month program that, if you have time, would be a wonderful thing to attend and support the department. It's Adrienne Parkman, who is with the workplace in Bridgeport. She is an amazing speaker. She is part of the same sorority as Kamala Harris. I've worked with her in the past on several things. She's just remarkable. She's the COO of the workplace, and that's a job retraining center in Bridgeport. That's on February 5th at 2. That's next Friday at 2.
And what is it, by Zoom?
It is by Zoom, and we send out a link. That's exactly right. It's by Zoom.
Okay.
So for so that's Senior Center. We're doing a ton of programs still. We're coordinating with our 14 area SWACA towns to share even more programs. And I think I said this last time we met, was that this pandemic has brought some gifts. That all of these towns are sharing programs. It used to be like sharing babysitters. If you had a program with a speaker and somebody called and said, "Hey, who's your speaker?" you get very protective. But now we are sharing programs with especially these 14 towns, and then the state group of 169. We're sharing, and you'll notice in the newsletter, we're sharing some of those programs too, and sharing ours with them. So it's kind of made our area of Fairfield County much more unified and welcoming, and not that it wasn't welcoming before, but just in terms of sharing and participating in programs, and also has really helped our area connect with the state, because we're always kind of on the bottom, not for any other reason than geography. The meetings are always upstate because nobody wants to travel down here in the traffic. So we were kind of separate, and now we're a much better part of that. In
but it also
services,
seems like it might be adding more work because you have a lot more to track.
Yes and no. We for programs that are run by different areas, different towns, or the libraries or the history center, we steer seniors to register there themselves. They're independent and self-directed. They can go and sign on at the History Center, or they can go at the library. For seniors who the people who are left behind are the people without technology, and that's I'll get to that in a second. But for the programs we run, Janet is doing that. Brenda will not be doing that because she is 100% on that call center, but when that eases up, that's something that she'll also participate in, or I'm doing it, starting some of the meetings or forgetting to, and then Janet's like, "Oh my God, did you start that?" And I'll be like, "Oh yeah, here we go." So it is a challenge because it's keeping all of this straight, but it's working. We were lucky enough to receive a grant from Rotary to buy iPads to have an iPad lending library, and we're working with IT and with the library to get their app on there, and maybe the History Center app, and we'll allow we haven't started it quite yet. We're hoping for mid-February. We'll allow seniors to borrow the iPads for a month at a time at no charge, and then return them in a month or renew them in a month, depending on the demand. So we're
That's wonderful. I would like to suggest we invite Rotary to be one of our guest speakers because of that. That's wonderful.
Oh, I agree with that. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
That is really cool of them. I love that.
Yeah. So for social services, we've received a grant from United Way for $4,000 that helps with excessive bills. People are trying to keep up. There's moratoriums and there's patience in paying bills, but when people got their electric bills and they were in the thousands, we can help with a certain level each year, and that's generally $400 a person based a household. And we've upped that a little bit depending on the family circumstances on a case-by-case basis. And we do have energy assistance and Operation Fuel to help people with utilities. We also, so this $4,000 from United Way is to help with excessive bills up to $500 a family, and that's significant for these families. That more than doubles what we usually can do. And all these clients who are the recipients are well screened by us for other services such as food insecurity, other financial assistance helping with SNAP or with the energy assistance. We also received a $7,500 donation from the Father Coleman Fund, and that is specifically for a warming fund. And they were very generous last year as well, and that's for oil, gas, electric if somebody heats with electric. And that's come in handy this year, especially because bills are so high. So that's been great. We are starting to see a couple of evictions, and there is a moratorium, but evictions can happen if somebody is disruptive or damaging the house, or if a landlord needs to sell a rental unit or move into a rental unit and make it their primary residence. So we've had a couple in the last few weeks, and that's not something we've had to think about for a while. So that's new. And also food insecurity. The mobile food pantry numbers are up, our lunch numbers are up, and our referrals to Operation Hope are up. I think that might be on the updates. Any questions? Anything I overlooked?
Oh, my goodness. There's a lot of burden on many people and many services. And thank goodness you're able to get these generous grants and keep things moving. But I don't know. We need a prayer in sight that this all starts to get better. That's it. It's a tough time. Good job. Good work, Julie. Really.
We have a really great team. And Brenda just rounds it out, because it's nice to have camaraderie and help.
I mean, I'm sure there's some things we could talk about down the road, even about creating some support groups, right? Because it's been a tough year.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Terry Keegan-Gack, our beloved former director, works now for Positive Directions in Westport, and she runs a COVID support group for teachers, just for that exact reason.
That's wonderful.
Wow.
It is, isn't it? But we do have, we have a parent group that one of our social workers runs, and still our low vision group, and our bereavement group just kind of stopped. It just, I don't know if people are just not reaching out, but that's something we've got to restart.
Oh, we have to reinvigorate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think, but there's just not. Right, but they're not calling about it, which is strange.
Yeah, that is strange.
Yeah.
Doesn't also, I would say families, going through this whole at-home learning and coping with children at home, and are the children safe? I mean, do they fall under our Human Services Commission perusal? These kids that are feeling so shut in.
Not so much. The schools really are doing a great job with that.
They do that. Okay.
Yeah, they do. And also, the parent group is a way to coordinate that. And the social worker who runs that, her name is Allison Sale. She works with the schools. So if a family is struggling, the schools will call social services and say, we have a family, this is the situation. And then we'll rally around services. But then also they'll be connected with Allison's parent support group. So it's a nice synergy, and that's a great thing for us to be working with the school social workers. It makes for a very smooth partnership.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Wow, Julie, great report. Thank you. Anything else that you wanted to say before we kind of close this very long meeting? This is the longest meeting we've ever had.
In a long time, I know. So the one thing is we'll send out with the minutes the report from the Fairfield Senior Advocates that are put together for us. There's 5 areas that he's covered. I'm not going to read through them, but I'll tell you the highlights are the legislative update, the ADU proposal, that's the accessory dwelling units. Sacred Heart did a project, like a capstone project for Fairfield Senior Advocates, that age-friendly program. And George sent, you'll see when you get off this call, George sent the link to the AARP aging-friendly community. And Fairfield Senior Advocates will resume their Zoom meetings. So that'll be their write-up will be included in your minutes.
I sent that to you and Sheila. Yep. Good.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else have anything to add before we ask for a motion to adjourn?
This is Mary Ellen. I just have a quick question about email distribution lists. Are we all on one email distribution list now?
I hope so. Did you get the agenda and meeting announcement, Mary Ellen?
Yes, I did get that, but I didn't get, if something just went out about the AARP, I just got Loretta J's draft for Disability Commission, but I didn't get the AARP.
Mary Ellen, it's George. I sent that to Laura and to Julie.
Oh, sorry.
But I will now send it to the whole commission.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. So thank you very much. I have to say that as a first meeting, you guys are blowing it out of the water, and so I'm really excited to be involved with you guys.
We're happy to have you, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Very
this is
nice.
Brenda. I was going to say the same thing. It's amazing. I've learned so much, and it was just a pleasure listening to all these good things and wonderful ideas. So I look forward to meeting all of you in person at some point, and look forward to the next meeting already.
So.
Great.
And Brenda,
We're
this is Loretta. I just want to chime. I'm sorry. I just want to say, Brenda, and chime in that you seem to have just jumped right in and doing great. So it's good to see.
Yeah.
Thank
acclimating
you.
and feel. It sounds when you talk, it sounds like you've been there for a long time, not a week, doesn't it?
Thank you. Well, you're
Agreed.
all so kind. You're filling my bucket. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. You have been fabulous as always, and everybody for your time, your talent, and I really look forward to our next month's meeting. So thank you, everybody. George and Linda, I look forward to serving with you.
Right.
And vice versa.
Welcome to our new members, and this has been fabulous, so thank you. Everybody go home and have a nice glass of wine and keep warm.
Right.
Sounds like a plan.
So we need a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Please. All right, this is Loretta. I put forward a motion to adjourn.
It's
George,
Linda. I second it.
Okay.
Or anybody.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Bye, everyone.
Excellent. Sheila, thank you so much for taking the minutes, and we'll look forward to speaking with you all next month.
Thanks, Laura. See you, everybody.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank
All
you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Brenda.